Yo, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to Tay TV. In my last video, I'm reacting to like the most scary videos on YouTube. Let's get into this video.
Why in the world would someone want to create a two-headed dog? In 1954, scientist Vladimir Demikhov transplanted the head of a 9-year-old dog onto the back of the neck of a full-grown German Shepherd. I know, crazy. When both dogs woke up from this surgery, they could see, hear, smell, and swallow perfectly fine. But only 4 days later, the dogs passed away. And you're probably wondering why the hell this man decided to perform these outrageous procedures. Well, at the time, he said his goal was to help advance the science of organ transplants, but ultimately he wanted to save lives. But this isn't the first time he did something like this. He attempted this experiment over 24 times in total until he perfected it. And prior to this, in 1946, he successfully transplanted a second heart in a dog. Then only 5 months later, the dog passed away. And if you're wondering whether this man felt any guilt about what he was doing to these dogs, he made it pretty clear that he lost no sleep over these experiments.
These are ways that you can talk to a ghost. Up first, you can speak to a ghost through a candle light. First, you light a candle, then grab 2 pieces of small paper and write yes on one and no on the other. Then underneath the words, you have to write a small pentagram. Then put the papers as close as you can to the flame and then ask if a spirit is with you right now. If the flame goes towards the paper that says yes, then there is a ghost in your presence. But if it goes towards no, then you have to try again. Next, continue asking any questions you want to the ghost, but be careful. Next up is think of a dead person that you want to talk to, and then start yelling out loud, "Spirit, show yourself. Spirit, reveal. Spirit, come to me so I know who you are." Keep saying this over and over again, and then the spirit will appear.
Scary things you never knew. The last one is crazy. Would you keep this dog if it was your pet?
Not like when I go to work. I seen that Peppy.
Look at his teeth is sharp. Look at his eyes. His teeth is sharp. Look at his teeth. Look at his eyes, man. Woo!
Would you rather spend one night in this bathroom or kiss the second person who appears when you click share and then more? This man found something scary in his refrigerator.
Okay, so I just saw something moving in my refrigerator that shouldn't be hovering there. So it's moving right there. I seen it. Hold on. Don't move it.
What's that?
Yeah, no, I don't see anything else. Looking in the reflection too, I don't see it.
It just quickly
What is that?
disappeared.
I'm sorry, I had to do it. I'm sorry. It's scary how only 1% of people can do this. None of you can spell your name one word at a time in the comments below without being interrupted. First person to do it
Without
wins.
being
Before we get to
interrupted.
the last scary thing, please support this page by clicking the follow button for more interesting posts every day. Can someone explain to me what this is?
What is that? What in the world?
Sometimes true for strange non-fiction. The case of Richard Trenton Chase is a story which even the most depraved horror writer would struggle to create. Over the course of 4 weeks spanning across 1977 and 1978, Richard Chase took the lives of 6 innocent victims in Sacramento, California. His murders gradually progressed in violence, beginning with drive-by shootings and culminated in acts of cannibalism.
As I was looking through these pictures and looking at the after photos, first of all, I feel so bad for these patients or these clients. But I was like, oh my gosh, it reminds me of something and I just can't pinpoint it. And I finally realized what it reminded me of. They reminded me of that lady who was preserved by that scientist that was obsessed with her. Like, don't they look similar? It's very eerie, very scary. I don't know. I see the resemblance. Let me know if you do.
It's been 29 years since 23-year-old Selena Quintanilla's life was tragically taken. Her murderer, Yolanda Saldivar, is speaking out in a new docuseries and people are not too happy. Yolanda was only 33 years old when she was put in prison for taking Selena's life. But now that her parole is coming up next year in March, the announcement of this new docuseries has left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. Some people think that this is some sort of tactic for her to be released released from prison early. And people just don't want anything to do with this documentary because of past interviews with Yolanda and her lack of remorse. An interviewer who sat down with Selena multiple times and has had the chance to speak to Yolanda after Selena's death says that Yolanda is one of the most dishonest and deceitful persons he's ever known, and felt that she will spew a bunch of gibberish and nonsense and lies to try and justify her actions. So what exactly does Yolanda have to say at this point? I feel like even though people don't want to watch the docuseries, everyone is also very curious to see what she has to say.
It's just a cigarette and it cannot be that bad.
Honey, don't you love me and you know it makes me sad.
It's just a cigarette like you always used to do.
I was different then, I don't need them to be cool.
Jackson Mahomes today is going viral as he's the brother of the famous quarterback Patrick Mahomes. He was at the parade and apparently he helped save the lives of children while he was there. And I've got that information for you. And guys, make sure and click the plus sign because I'm going to have more on this that you don't want to miss. Sound off in the comments. Tell me what you think about this, but take a look at this information, then we'll discuss. And it says, Jackson Mahomes caught up in the KC Pew Pew. Helped out child, says eyewitness. And you can see it says a woman named Jess revealed on next Wednesday that Patrick Mahomes' little brother actually stuck around in the aftermath of the parade and was apparently on the scene when shots rang out and people started panicking. And it says, I don't care what anybody says, but I have found a newfound respect for Jackson Mahomes. Anna and I were stuck hiding with him at Union Station by the trains, and he was taking care of a child who lost their parents and helping him calm down. Oh. I love seeing this in part because I love seeing the people of Kansas City, no matter who you are, everybody came together and helped, but especially with him. He's had a lot of public controversy, including issues of people saying that he has SA'd, doing different things in public that look unseemly, and he doesn't have the best reputation. However, I do think we need to give credit where it's due, and if this young man is stepping up and he's helping save the lives of children, I'm all for it and he should be applauded. Thank you, Jackson Mahomes. Tell me your guys' thoughts. Sound off in the comments and click the plus sign. I've got more coming.
However, according to the phrase, you can't make this stuff up. We have known the story of real-life boogeyman, Albert Fish. A slight, elderly man with grey hair, no one suspected the kindly single father of being sadistic child murderer and cannibal.
Disturbing facts about real-life ghosts. Have you ever played Charlie before? If so, it's proven to be most likely that a spirit has been following you since then. Ever felt something watching you at your hallway or outside? If so, something genuinely is telling your human senses that something is there. Spirits love to visit at the night, no matter where or who you're with. Ever got goosebumps out of nowhere? It's most likely to be a spirit walking past.
This is by far the most horrific thing that was ever live streamed. This absolutely horrific murder that I'm about to explain was live streamed on Instagram. This is extremely disturbing, so this is a massive trigger warning. On August 11th, 2023, Bosnia bodybuilder named Nermin Selmanovic murdered his wife live on Instagram Live, all while 12,000 people watched. Nermin had been abusing his wife during their entire marriage, and the pair had a young child. On the morning of August 11th, he told his followers that they could witness a live killing. As the live stream continues, he then turns the camera to his ex-wife, whose face was bloodied and disfigured from multiple injuries, probably from him repeatedly hitting her over and over again. He then starts talking to her, calling her derogatory names, and blames her for her own death because she reported him to the police. And what makes this even more disturbing is throughout the entire live stream, you can hear their child just screaming, crying. He then tells his followers that he's the child's father and his ex had hidden the toddler from him for over a week. He then picks up the gun, points it at his ex-wife's head, and then fires one shot into her forehead, killing her. It's absolutely horrifying, and I don't recommend looking for it. After doing this, he then tells his followers on Instagram to come and save the child. A police chase then began, and Nermin went on a shooting rampage. He continued to film and tells his viewers that he killed 2 other people, who actually turned out to be an innocent man and his young son. He ended up taking his own life on that same day. This is a case when after you get done researching it, you just don't feel right. This is very sad and very disturbing. Whatever you do, don't go looking for the live stream because it's honestly something you just don't want to see.
This story is going to infuriate a lot of you. Maria Childers was a daycare worker at Explorer Learning Academy in Kentucky when she SA'd a baby girl. Maria is a transgender woman and was arrested on February 2023 after touching a baby girl inappropriately and making disgusting comments to her co-workers as she changed her diaper. This co-worker who witnessed everything reported the incident to the daycare and then to police. But guys, what Maria did is so disgusting, I can't even repeat it, so I'll leave it on the screen somewhere here for you guys to read it yourself. When Maria was brought in for questioning, she first denied ever changing the child's diaper, but when they presented all the evidence, she admitted it. She was arrested and charged, but here's the thing, her lawyer asked the court to reduce her bond because she needed access to estrogen, which the jail did not have. And then after negotiating with the court, Maria's bond was reduced from $100,000 to $5,000. Maria's felony SA charge was downgraded to a misdemeanor, and all the other abuse charges were also dropped. And this is when my jaw literally dropped, because Maria actually may not be serving any prison time either, or receive a criminal record if she obeys the court's conditions for 6 months. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm speechless.
What is that?
A youth wilderness therapy camp in North Carolina is under investigation after a 12-year-old boy died under suspicious circumstances less than 24 hours after he arrived. The boy was discovered dead last week at Trails, Carolina in Transylvania County. Officials said the boy had been taken to the camp on Friday by 2 men from New York per the parents' request. At around 8:10 a.m. on Saturday, a 911 call was made about a child not breathing. According to camp staff, they administered CPR on scene, but rescue efforts were soon stopped when it appeared that the boy had been dead for quite some time. The boy was taken to a nearby hospital for a preliminary examination before the body was taken for autopsy. On Tuesday, investigators conducted a search warrant at Trails Carolina camp, and the sheriff's office says that the camp is not fully cooperating with the investigation. But they noted that staff members that have been assigned to the boys' cabin have been placed on leave. Trails Carolina camp is billed as an adventure wilderness program for students aged 10 to 17, and they have been issued a statement of deficiency 5 times by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services since 2019. A spokesperson for the camp said, "We are shattered by the tragic loss of a young life, and our deepest sympathies are with the student's family and loved ones.
Shaking my head.
Our priority is to acknowledge and respect the unfathomable impact on their lives and maintain the integrity of the investigation into the cause. We are cooperating fully with investigators and have retained outside professionals to assist us in conducting our internal investigation."
A poodle falls out of a window and 3 people died in one of the craziest deaths imaginable. Viewer discretion is advised. This story occurred in Buenos Aires, Argentina in 1988. This story feels like something that was pulled directly from a Final Destination movie. The absolutely insane events happened here at this building. It starts 13 stories up when a poodle, who I guess is on the balcony, and he's living in the apartment of the Montoya family, something happens and the poodle falls off the balcony. And it falls all 13 stories. A 75-year-old woman named Marta Espina was at the bottom of the building at the worst possible moment. The poodle collides with her, killing both her and the poodle on impact. Wild enough story as it is, but it's not done. Immediately as this incident occurred, there were onlookers. One of those onlookers was 46-year-old Edith Sola. All of her attention was focused on this wild event that just occurred in front of her eyes, when all of a sudden a bus comes flying down the road, colliding directly with Edith Sola, killing her on impact. She was so fixated on this event that she was not paying attention to where she was walking. And it's still not done. A third individual, a man whose name is unknown, he witnessed both the incident with the poodle and the incident with the woman being struck by the bus. He was an older man, and it said that the shock of witnessing both events caused him to, well, collapse. And this is because he suffered a heart attack. And you have to backtrack to how on earth did this poor dog fall off of a balcony that high up? Apparently there had been some recent repairs done on the balcony, but I guess the repairs weren't good enough. 3 people, 1 poodle. I don't know if it gets any more strange than that.
Alright, so I have another update for you guys. This is one of the fans that actually stopped the pew pewer, and he posted this himself on Twitter. This one is a picture of the suspect that he tackled down and held until the police got there. And I'm not sure if I'm allowed to show this on TikTok or not, but there is a pew pew right behind my head if you guys want to go to his TikTok and see that. I'm not 100% sure if this is what the suspect had or if this was something that the police had. And if this is something that the suspect had, I just want to give a huge shout out to this man for stopping him, because this could have been way worse than it already is. As of right now, there are 22 people with GSWs, and 9 of those are children. They're still getting counts right now. Still trying to figure out exactly what happened, but I'm starting to think that this was something this man had planned out, possibly other people as well.
Mummified monkey remains were found in luggage at Boston Airport. The traveler who brought these in also claimed they were just dried fish. These mummified remains included 4 monkey heads. One of the canines actually ended up sniffing this out. The monkey remains are dehydrated, and the traveler was coming from the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is considered bushmeat, and you cannot carry bushmeat into the US because they can carry viruses. For example, Ebola. Bushmeat is either raw meat or very minimally processed meat. And in this case, dehydrated meat counts.
I'm gonna just say this, President. I remember when Obama stopped Ebola just in time, like that.
Imagine carrying around 8 pounds of monkey remains and just telling everyone it's dried fish. I don't even know what motives you could have on taking this back to the US. Were they gonna eat it? Were they gonna put it in a history museum? I have no idea. And of course, this is not the first time someone's done something like this. Apparently, a similar case happened when someone was carrying around 30 pounds of rat meat. Super weird, I know, don't know why. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. And as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
Are you familiar with the missing 411 cases? No? Missing 411 refers to a series of unsolved cases of people who mysteriously vanished in national parks across North America. Obviously, it's common for people to get lost in like the woods because it's fucking huge, right?
Yeah, but you could like fall the wrong side, get eaten by an animal too.
But it's just the way they went missing, how they were found, how their remains were found. Like there's one case about a guy, his name is Aaron Hedges. Back in 2014, he was elk hunting in the Crazy Mountains in Montana. He was really familiar with this specific area. He got so familiar to the point where like he didn't need a map.
So there's no way he could just get lost.
No, bro. Like, and he even set up these caches in different parts of the area. It has like necessities that he might need, like sleeping bags, food, water, stuff like that. So he ended up going with 2 of his friends on a hiking trip, and they were gonna go set up camp at a lake. So they were gonna go with 2 horses and a pack mule. It was good for the first 2 days, and then on the 3rd day, Aaron decides, you know what? I'm just gonna go to a cache. I'm gonna go get a sleeping bag, get some other materials that we might need. I'm gonna come back. A couple hours later, one of his friends ends up talking to him on the walkie-talkie, and this specific like walkie-talkie, whenever you talk, it shows the GPS coordinate of the other person's walkie-talkie. So whenever he looked at it, Aaron said he was gonna go north to a cache, but on the map he went far east from the cache he was supposed to go. And then whenever they got in contact with him, he was like, "Oh, sorry guys, I went the wrong way on accident."
But how would he get lost like that?
Exactly. They go all look for him and stuff. They go to where the GPS showed, no sign of him anywhere, bro. Since they found nothing, they eventually ended up calling the authorities. They ended up finding his boots,
he got lost.
and next to his boots was a campfire, pack of cigarettes that were his. But it was weird because those same
Woman wore old ring for 25 years. Then jeweler told her so. Jane strolls through the flea market on the west side of the city every week, leisurely walking past different stalls. Everything looks quite ancient and worn, and she only has a few dollars in her pocket, hoping to get value for her money. As she gazes upon a massive ring at one of the stalls, she feels like fate has led her here. The lady wants something beautiful and luxurious for herself. Although she knows it seems like something she can never afford, she desires it. Jane inexplicably feels drawn to the ring. The ring has an unbelievably large setting, and the crystal is just as impressive. Jane knows she must own it, a piece of jewelry she not only wholeheartedly loves, but also sees as a talisman to remind her that with enough effort, one day she'll buy a real diamond. She purchases this incredible ring for $13. From that moment on, she wears the ring every day, no matter where she goes. Despite her humble background, she doesn't need much, and the ring makes her feel like a princess, even 25 years later. But one day, a peculiar trip to a grocery store completely upends her life. On her way home, Jane stops at a nearby grocery store. She gathers all she needs and heads to the cashier. She notices a stranger staring at her hand. The man keeps staring, making the lady uneasy. Jane quickly pays and exits the store, realizing he is still following her. Curious about what the man wants from her, or if she's just being paranoid, she shortens the distance between them. As she turns to face him, he says something completely unexpected. If you'd like to continue the story, you can reply with ring.
This is it for this video. Thank you for watching with me. Thank you.